Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to make the handle for the skull knife. I'm going to use mild steel for the guard and pommel and African Blackwood for the handle material. I'll start with the guard and then mill the top and bottom flat, that way there's no gaps between the handle material and the guard. Now that I got the top and bottom milled flat, I'm going to spray it with the tool ink. Now I can mark the center line, and I'll mark where the tang goes. First I use the drill bit in the milling machine to drill out the holes where the tang's going to go, and then I'll switch to an Anvil and mill out all the material between the drill holes. So now that I have a slot milled out for the tang, I'll use the square file and dial it in to where the tang fits nice and snug. This took quite a bit of filing. Once I get the tang to fit through the guard, I'll mill out some material so the ricasso will fit into the guard. I'll use the rotary tool with the tungsten bits to remove the material in the corners. Once I get all the material cleaned out of the corners, I'll take it to the belt grinder and clean up that top surface. Now I'm going to work on putting threads in the tang. So first I'll square off the end, and then I'll grind the 45-degree bevel on all four corners. Then I'll just round everything over. So for the pommel, I just milled this one side flat. That way there'll be no gaps between the pommel and the handle material. Same thing with the guard. I used the mill to drill and tap the hole for the tang. I used the milling machine to start the tap, that way I know I get nice straight threads, and then I'll switch to the hand tool. Now that I'm done with the tap, I'm going to use the die to thread the tang. Now that the guard and pommel is set up, I need to cut a piece of wood for the handle material. I'm going to use the miter saw, that way I know I get a nice 90-degree cut. And then I just cut like 1/8 of an inch off this side, just to get rid of the wax and get down to a perfect edge. Alright, so now that the wood fits real nice between the guard and pommel, I mark where the tang is going to go through the wood, and then I'll drill out the holes, and then use the drill bit to hog out the material between the holes. The African Blackwood is really dense, so when you're drilling it through, you have to keep cleaning the flutes out of your drill bit to keep it cutting nice. Alright, so now that the tang slots through the wood, I put it all together to make sure everything's going to fit good before I start shaping it. So here, I'll just use my original template and line everything up and mark where the profile of the handle is going to be. And then I'll do the same thing with the pommel and the guard. Now that I have some guidelines scribed into the handle material, I'll take everything apart and then go over to the belt grinder and start grinding in the rough profile. So to save on some belts, I'm going to take the pommel outside and cut off some of these bigger chunks with the angle grinder. So now that I have a rough profile for the guard and pommel, I'm going to switch to the handle and get a rough profile in on the handle material. So now that the profile is roughed in on the side view, I'll switch to the top view and I'll scribe in a grid pattern on the back and on the front of the knife. That way I have a nice guide to grind up to. So here I have a rough grind on everything. Now I'm going to take it apart and start to refine all the parts and make sure everything matches and looks good. I wanted to put in this extra detail on the guard, so I used a domed end mill. That way I can get this nice radius between the bottom of the guard and the top. And I did this on both sides and the back. Now I'm going to use the belt grinder to blend the bottom of that radius into the bottom of the guard. I sanded all the surfaces with the belt grinder before I did all the hand sanding and polishing. Once I finished polishing all the pieces, I put it all together and taped it up and then used epoxy to put it together one last time. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I read all my comments, so if you do have a question, I'll definitely get back to you. And if you do like this video, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos. And then if you share it, that'd be awesome too. Thank you.